Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jan. I'm the CEO of Acquire.Fi. We have both Nathan and Andrew this time with us. Andrew, how are you feeling? Away.
I'm feeling a bit better. Definitely sucked those last few days. Stuck on the toilet for like a full day.
It's never fun.
Yeah, but yeah, it's getting better now. Healing up and yeah, ready to look at the charts.
I'm gonna take him out tonight and give him a whole bunch of whiskey to kill whatever bacteria is left in his system.
I feel like that's gonna cause another episode.
I thought that was the cure.
Maybe.
The markets are pumping though. What good news do you got for us, man?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see that like the war stuff finally resolved. So it seems like we're back at peace. But who knows? Like
For how long?
tomorrow, it just takes one news headline or one missile to kind of fuck this all up. But for now, things look okay. So nice recovery on the market. It was getting a bit worrisome because like I did notice we had these like massive double tops coming in, and then even if you look on the weekly chart, like we almost confirmed the weekly double top here, which isn't what you want to see. Weekly double tops are pretty deadly topping type structures, and generally when you get those, that's kind of it for the market. So luckily that moving average, that 13 EMA moving average, came in as support, and we finally got some resolution there on that war stuff. So other than that, there's really not much going on. I mean, we had a V bottom recovery. Generally with V bottoms, markets do have to come back down and then potentially retest this pretty much breakout. The other thing is like we are in a short reload zone now, so we're back into resistance, up against these previous highs again. And as you can see, market is kind of holding right now as we are in this resistance zone. We did just get a capitulation signal on the hash ribbon signal as well, so that usually means kind of cool your jets. I probably wouldn't be too overly bullish until we get that buy signal back again, and until we get some kind of structure. For now, there's really not too much. Like, there's no bear divs or overbought conditions, so momentum-wise, it's okay. It's mostly just like a location where this is kind of resistance area. But again, we're still a bit of ways of seeing any kind of daily double tops and stuff. So
we did get a bear moon too.
Pardon?
We got that bear moon starting too.
Oh yeah, and there's a bear lunar cycle thing going on. So yeah, I mean, if I go down in the smaller time, like the 4-hour time frame, you can see the breakdown slowly coming in. Like we have a double top on the 4-hour. We got that 13 EMA as support right now, but if it loses that, we have a long way down to that 30 SMA. So a bit of a gap. We do have some bearish divs on the MACD now. We are overbought on the 4-hour, not on the daily, but on the 4-hour. And so a little bit of a pullback wouldn't be surprising because, like, again, when you get these V bottoms, there's always a bit of a retest. And since we are in this short reload zone, this resistance area, it's also kind of expected to see some kind of pullback, in my opinion. So it's not overly alarming. So I think, if anything, it's still a pretty healthy price action we're seeing. If I have the moon phases here. Yeah, I guess this is the moon phase. I guess this is the bearish moon we're in now.
It's all over for 2 weeks, bro.
So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I still think we're gonna have a very bullish summer, like especially after July 1st is kind of what I was thinking based on the Jan barometer studies that we have, and
it's pretty wild
yeah, maybe
how those moons act like. There's no reason that that they should be accurate, but like they're pretty scarily accurate. Like.
Well, astrology is, a pseudoscience, but the old expression is millionaires don't look at astrology, billionaires do. And one of my old trading teacher, he was extremely like an advocate for astrology type stuff. And he did really well in trading using like GAN studies and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, that's really the underlying basis for all technical and like TA and charting and stuff. It's all based off of like human emotion and human psychology. So if there's enough people out there that believe in the moon cycles, that believe in astrology and things like that, then that's why it works, you know? Simple as that.
Yeah, the prophecy comes to life. You know? And it is kind of interesting stuff because it does show like how people react, how people think, right? So I do think there's some validity to it, but again, you need to just be able to like create a full-on setup. You can't just rely on one thing. Combine it with a bunch of other indicators or, you know, whatever you want to use to formulate your thesis, right? So I think that's probably your best bet. But looking at ETH is also kind of in this resistance zone here. If you look, we're at a 38.2 kind of first stop resistance level. And, you know, we came pretty close to this reload zone. We kind of bounced right out of it. But same thing with Bitcoin. There's no, like, signs of crazy, like, bear divs or oversold or overbought conditions just yet. The only thing is we are up against some moving averages. So ETH has a lot of moving averages to break above. So we got a bit of a resistance here compared to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin's already above all these moving averages. So ETH is a little bit struggling right now. But again, if we can start forming some kind of W's, right, maybe we can start breaking up to the upside. But for now, there's really nothing that I see in terms of setup-wise. More so like just probably stuck in a range again. You know, we got the top of range up here at 112, and now we got the bottom of the range at 98, and same thing for ETH. We got the top of range at 2,800-ish, and then we got the bottom of the range around 2,100. So I think we're just going to probably gyrate here for a little bit. And then if Jam Barometer and tech seasonality stuff points to a bullish summer coming into July, hopefully in the next week or two, we can start seeing prices start, you know, moving up to the upside. But for now, I'm a little bit just kind of hands off, not really interested in buying or shorting anything. Still waiting for setup.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the ETF flows on Ethereum has been pretty bullish. Yesterday was pretty bearish, $36 million outflows. But like, I'm just looking here. I'm not showing this to anyone, but like the last 4 days were like almost $300-400 million worth of flows.
That's a lot.
So that's a lot, and I'm pretty like surprised that Ethereum went all the way down to 2,200. Like,
yeah,
I would have thought that 2,350, 2,400 would have been like a very, very hard rock. Like, hey, we're not gonna go down that line, but we broke down pretty well.
Yeah, nice recovery though, I would say. Like, pretty surprised, like, because you know during that war scare, everything was looking pretty bad, and I thought the whole market was ready to go to complete nuke mode. But luckily, things kind of reverse, and you know, obviously the bulls are still around, which is good to see. And we just have to wait. And you know, ETH might come back, especially as this ETH Bitcoin chart. If this W starts coming back in on ETH Bitcoin here, then I do think ETH could start coming back to life, and then we should expect to see, you know, life coming back in the altcoins as well. Obviously, right now things have gone in a pretty big wash. You know, Bitcoin dominance screaming higher, stablecoin dominance kind of perking back up, and you can see the alt indexes aren't really doing too much. We had this V bottom recovery. Now we're just kind of, again, retesting this original breakout. If you look at the small caps, they already kind of got washed, it looks like. So really just have to wait so we start getting these like W's start printing again on these alt indexes before we can start being bullish. And that probably won't happen until ETH starts rallying here. So we got a bit of time to wait. If we look at equities, though, S&P and NASDAQ at all-time highs. We finally broke out. And it doesn't look to be stopping, in my opinion, just yet either. Like, momentum indicators and everything kind of points to, like, hey, we're getting kind of a little bit, you know, overextended. But in terms of price action and structure, I don't see anything stopping this right now. So I think equities are still going to be higher. And generally, when equities are ripping higher, crypto should follow suit as well. So just waiting for that translation over right now.
Do you think some of that is front running the potential for a July rate cut, which is starting to seem a little more likely? There's been two different chair members that have said July is likely. Now, of course, Powell came out and was like, no, we're not doing anything until we're damn good and ready. But I saw like Kalshi and Polymarket move from, I don't know, it was like in the under 10 up to like it's like 25 or 30% chance of rate cuts in July now.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. He did mention we're going to have 2 rate cuts at least this year, right? We're getting closer and closer to, the year being over. We're pretty much halfway through the year. So eventually there's going to be a cut, whether it be next month or not. But
if it's not July, it's got to be September, because there's no FOMC in August unless they do some sort of like emergency meeting. So if we don't get in July, markets probably dump a bit on if the expectation gets built up. But then after that, I would imagine August, like we've been talking about, things start building an expectation of September rate cuts.
Yeah.
But isn't Trump saying like, hey, we're going to be replacing Powell?
Oh, yeah. He's
not going to happen.
He said he said they're interviewing potential candidates to take his spot. And Scott Bassett's name was sent out today as a possible candidate for replacement. So, yeah, and technically he has no power to do that. That doesn't mean he can't get it done. If he doesn't have the direct power, he can influence the people that do have the power to get him out of there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's going to happen eventually. Like both JD and Trump are very notoriously saying like, hey, let's replace Powell.
But here's another thing is that yesterday, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Essentially, the Fed has quietly proposed cutting the SLR ratio. And essentially what that means is like the big 5 banks can now have free leverage to buy treasuries. And so this is like a form of QE technically. It's not confirmed. It's just a proposal that they brought up at the meeting at the revision board yesterday. And I think that's what the market is kind of like, oh, shoot. Okay, that's kind of a positive news in terms of like equities, right?
Bro, banks are out of control. Our dollar is absolutely just boned.
Yeah, I mean, $37 trillion in debt or whatever. This is pretty bad.
They already don't have any reserve ratios. There's stories out just last week where they're showing that it's like 80% of the incomes banks make now are from federal funding, not from their actual work that they do, the value that they provide to the market. Now that the SLR ratio is like, the banks are in full, they've always been in control, but now it's like they're not even trying to hide it anymore. It's like, we're just gonna let you guys do whatever you want to try and kick this can down the road for a little bit longer because the dollar is absolutely just shithoused.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. It's like they just kick the can down to the next generation, and then it's not their problem.
Bro, buy as much Bitcoin as you can afford if you're watching this. Not financial advice.
Just don't buy it up at these prices, please. Just like wait a little bit because like prices are gonna come down. Like just chill.
Yeah, DCA. Don't spend money you can't. Don't afford to lose. Plan on holding it long term. It's not a get rich quick thing, but 10 years down the road, when the dollar is even further in the hole, and things are getting wilder, you're going to be glad you have some Bitcoin.
Definitely, it's definitely an inflation proxy. So, yeah, I definitely think Bitcoin is probably our best bet. Yeah, I mean, damn, it's gonna suck when we have to pay, $100 just to buy a loaf of bread. But at least we'll have $1 million Bitcoin. So.
Yeah, we'll have.
Well, that's becoming a reality, right? The stocks are going up. Everything is going up. Like, I mean, we're printing more money than before. I'm asking myself always when I see the stock market going all-time high, I'm like, how is this possible? But then I just remember it's actually the money supply that is going up, and the only way of like basically betting against the money market is with buying stocks or BTC or hard assets. Like, what else can you do?
It amazes me how many people, especially like America, I don't know how it is in Canada or in Europe. I'd imagine very similar. But the financial illiteracy of people, like the number of people that just like, oh, I put my money in a savings account. It's like, You know how much you're losing on that every single year, like due to inflation? Like you're not only not gaining money, you're losing. Like, I don't understand. It's like because the value of the dollar is going down at an exponential rate, and the bank's offering you 0.25% interest on what you have in there. Like you might as well just go burn 5% of your money every year. Like,
yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, just buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up on average, it's up so much. Like you could just park your money in Bitcoin and like be pretty comfortable, in my opinion. Yeah.
I know we're really preaching to the choir here. Anybody that's watching this probably is well aware of what we're talking about, but it's good to vent.
Definitely.
Yeah. You want to go through some news, Andrew?
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, Nathan.
Come on now.
Wow.
I know.
I got
tired.
Wow. I got a fun little video.
You look both the same to me. Don't worry.
You're not confusing us. All right, here we go. It's only 28 seconds, but it's pretty good.
All right.
I can't hear. Is there volume?
Oh, can you guys not hear this?
No.
You might have to. I don't know. It's probably a setting in the streaming category. Anyways, it's funny. It's making fun of Bitcoiners saying Bitcoin fixes this. It's like the wife's like, my cat died. He's like, Bitcoin fixes this, and like something about a divorce and like all these other like typical like Bitcoin slogans applied to like life problems, and the wives are all or the partner's always just getting pissed.
I mean, I think Bitcoin would solve that. Divorce.
Yeah. Oops, I dropped my ledger in the lake. I don't have it anymore. Sorry.
No.
We were talking ETH inflows earlier here. I know we looked at this earlier this week, but you get the last couple days in here. I mean, looking pretty damn good. 13 million, 65, a little slow down the 21st, 110 on the 22nd, 60 almost on the 23rd. So yeah, despite ETH struggling, I mean, we see this a lot when you have institutions accumulating an asset, right? They're keeping price down so they can just accumulate more and more and more. And when they have their bags good and full, that's when they'll be ready to send it. I know there's a technical term for it, but it's escaping me at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge ETH fan, but if you're a little more on the riskier side of the scale, looking at ETH versus Bitcoin throughout the rest of this cycle, however long that may be, I think ETH is setting up for being the winner in that race. Not that I don't think we're going to see some good gains with Bitcoin. I mean, I still think we'll see 200K Bitcoin at least. But, from here, that's a 2X. ETH could do a 3, 5X. So, of course.
Give me 10K. Give me 10K ETH, please.
Bro, 10K ETH is going to be insane. Everything associated with that, all the other alts will absolutely just go nuclear.
Oh, we need it, man.
It's funny how long we have been talking about it doing major pumps and so forth, but we still have not seen 3K for a while.
Or even 4K.
Yeah, it amazes me. Like everything else has been going so good, but it just can't break its levels.
Like Bitcoin's hit all-time highs and broken all-time highs multiple times now. He still hasn't hit all-time highs. Like, oh my God, such a pain.
Well, we know that institutions are super bullish, not only on ETH, but Bitcoin. Every time we come on here, every Tuesday, every Friday, with more and more stories about Bitcoin adoption, which we're going to cover a bunch more today, but not everybody is on board. Jamie Dimon is now just becoming an absolute clown with his statements. Again, he's the head of the first bank that's opened up crypto custody and purchasing in their bank. 90,000 JP Morgan banks around the US are open to their customers to custody and buy crypto now. They are opening their own stable coin. Yet Jamie Dimon, the CEO, keeps coming out saying stuff like this, saying, his most recent saying in 10 years, Bitcoin is going to be closed down. They're gonna shut the doors. They're gonna turn off the lights in the factory, and Bitcoin's getting closed down in 10 years. So, I mean, do I even need to ask what you guys' thoughts are on this?
Nah, he's a scammer. He told like 5 years ago, he was like, "I'm never buying a Bitcoin. It's a scam." And the whole time, this fucker was buying Bitcoin.
Well, he said
you cannot trust these bankers ever.
No.
They're as bad as politicians. Like How do you know a politician is lying? They open their mouths.
Yeah,
It's the exact same with these guys.
Yeah. No,
Well,
yeah, very
obviously,
different.
these guys can't say anything publicly, and obviously, like they're always hedging their positions. So whatever they say publicly, they probably have positions either way, and they're just speculating.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good
They
thing to
are
understand.
they're basically making the market. So how can you play against them?
Yeah.
It's a good thing to understand when you see guys saying stuff like this. They're doing it for a reason. Like Jamie Dimon's not a stupid guy. Like he doesn't really believe that Bitcoin's gonna be shut down in 10 years, right? He's happy to make himself be the heel or one of the heels in this industry. While in the background, he's accumulating, probably millions and millions of dollars, both personally and through the business in Bitcoin. So yeah, gotta be careful where you get your trusted information from.
No, I agree.
Come to Acquire.Fi. We'll shoot you straight. Well, somebody that is bullish, the U.S. government continues to be bullish on Bitcoin. More and more people within the government saying the government is putting together an accumulation plan. We've talked about this numerous times. We've got the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. We've got ETFs. We're waiting for the U.S. government to start buying. Now, I would assume, much like Jamie Dimon, the U.S. government has already started buying. They're just not letting us know yet. So it's a matter of time. When this dam breaks, it's going to be pretty epic. When the U.S. government buys, any government around the world, any fund around the world who is not buying, it is going to start because Uncle Sam's has a blank checkbook that he's going to be buying every quarter, every week, every whatever, and everybody else in the world is going to try and front run that.
I bet you they already are buying.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. They'd have to be silly not to. So.
But yeah, I think this is again, like every week we're seeing more and more of this bullish news. Like it's just a matter of time when BTC will go over 120, 150. I mean, it must happen during this cycle, maybe even this summer.
That's bearish talk. 150? Come on, bro.
I'm a 150 guy. I like 150 as a target as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we rip past that one. Whenever it is that we do start pumping, I think we rip past 150 pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, look at the exchange supply that is there now. It's becoming lower and lower. It's a good indication, like, hey, how long are we going to see these prices before we see major bumps? But yeah, I'm very surprised though. Like we're still at 100K, and despite all these major bullish news. Obviously, some of these are not going to sell, especially if you are a pension fund, you will hold these assets for 10 plus years. So yeah, whatever we see now, look at it on the longer term. Like you can't really lose if you buy BTC and hold it for 5-10 years. I think it's very impossible.
Well, and this list is only going to continue to grow, both in terms of the numbers in the top 20 and the companies in the top 20. The Japanese MicroStrategy MetaPlanet, they're raising another $5 billion to come in here. So this list, this is from Pomp. He just recently, was a week ago, announced the $1 billion treasury through whatever company it is that he's buying with, is buying up. But yeah, you got MetaPlanet here at number 8. If they buy another $1 billion, it's supposed to rocket them up into like top 3, I think, for Bitcoin treasuries. But I would expect to see this number, not just names changing, new people coming in, and then a race to see who can accumulate the most, the fastest. That's why I'm thinking 150 is bearish.
Yeah, no, I agree. But a lot of these companies are though buying with leverage. So basically, what they're doing, they're selling their own stocks and buying with that money BTC. BTC goes up, and then they're again doing the same thing over and over and over again. This can't be like sustainable.
The dot-com boom, baby. The dot-com bubble. Something's gonna pop, man, and it's gonna be bad. I swear.
Yeah, I mean, like, imagine when MicroStrategy needs to start paying back their debt. Obviously, I'm not the economist, but I don't know.
No, I agree. It scares the shit out of me, but in the short to medium term, I think it's gonna pump our bags. At some point, though, somebody's got to pay the bill. Like it's going to come, this can't go on forever.
No, this is not good. But anyway, like, yeah, bullish news.
Yeah.
Store of value, store it for longer term. It will be good.
More bullish news from the U.S. government. We've got the House passing the Deploying American Blockchains Act. Who the hell knows what that means? I haven't had a chance to think into that, but they're pushing more stuff. This is coming along the same lines as earlier this week. Trump kind of fed up, saying, "Get me legal framework now." With something we've been dealing with and talking about for years. It's been a frustration for people in this industry, not just in this administration, but the last two administrations, of saying like, well, how do we operate as a crypto company? Crypto's been de facto illegal in the US, right? Coinbase is a great example. They were allowed to file a public IPO, and then months after they're approved for this IPO, they get sued for being in violation of God knows what. So like, there's such a gray area. They haven't given us any framework to work off of if people want to actually do legitimate business in this industry within the United States. And the rest of the world, kind of follows pretty closely with what the US is doing. So, Trump and his administration have been very bullish on crypto as a whole. They've said many times they want to make America the center of all, the new technological growth and Bitcoin, everything around Web3. But to do that, we need some sort of guidelines. We can't, people aren't going to invest millions and billions of dollars to start companies to fund this tech and grow businesses in the US if they think they're going to be subject to the Fed or the SEC or legal action coming after them to shut the company down or make their life hell. So this is I believe bullish for the industry as a whole. Getting some sort of legal framework in place so that people can start innovating and bringing these companies into the U.S. again. Hopefully, it leads to where U.S. retail is able to actually participate in markets again. We've seen some work on the front there with I think it was 2 weeks ago, the Fed declaring that DeFi doesn't fall into the same regulations as securities. So maybe that'll lead to U.S. citizens being able to legally participate in DeFi again. But overall, very bullish trend on the regulatory framework side of things in the U.S.
No, this is good. They also now let you do collateral, put your collateral as, what do you say, when you buy houses?
Yeah, the housing agency. I don't know if they've fully passed it yet, but it's definitely something they're talking about right now. I've seen mixed reports on this so a lot of people don't understand. This is not using Bitcoin to pay for the loan. This is simply using it as collateral to prove that you are worthy of getting this loan, that if something would happen, you can pay it back. Same as you can use stocks or other assets like other property for when you're applying for the loan. But the catch with this, I've seen multiple people reporting that this bill, you cannot self-custody your Bitcoin and have it apply as an asset. You have to have it on a centralized exchange, which we all know the risks inherent with that. So I don't know how bullish this is. Maybe, it seems like it needs a little bit of work, but overall, hell of a lot better than spending your Bitcoin on Starbucks or freaking Shake Shack or something.
Yeah, I saw this. Who's the famous real estate guy in United States?
There's a couple. Trump.
Who's a Scientologist also.
Charlie also doesn't narrow it down.
Tom Cruise.
No. He's a real estate guy. He's very famous. But anyway, he had I was reading. He had a very good point. Like, so what they're starting to think of is that basically, if you take a loan for $250,000 or $300,000, and you basically take a loan for $300,000. 5 to 10% would go automatically to just buy BTC, and you would have to hold it until you can pay the loan back. And I think this is kind of remarkable because basically what it does, let's say in 20 years, 30 years, your 10% that you put into a loan, that could be a major sum of your loan that you took. Like that 5K that is now worth 5K could be worth like 200K in 20, 30 years. So basically you get a house and you get a BTC.
Bro. Like
a fraction of a BTC.
Imagine what that would do to the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, but that's something that they're talking about now. So I think it's there's very much innovative stuff coming out from US. I'm very surprised.
I love that idea.
Leveraging, it sounds like. This worries me, man. Too much leveraging is not good.
Don't you start, Andrew.
Dude, I'm just saying, man. That's what happened during the .com. Everybody
Our
started
whole
leveraging
financial fiat system is built on leverage. So what do you want?
I don't want to die.
The bank's requiring you to put your, part of your loan in direct buy with Bitcoin. As long as you're doing, a spot buy or an ETF buy, like you're not leveraged in that case. Of course, the bank could call your loan, but then that means the bank's assuming your Bitcoin. Are they going to dump that? Maybe, but I would think for the most part, overall, maybe they should wait till after the upcoming housing crash to implement this. But after that, if the market's going strong, I think it'd be good for Bitcoin. But no, you're right. Like there's a lot of shady TradFi stuff going on with these industries coming in. Which my thesis on this, because a lot of people, there's lots of memes out there. 2017 Bitcoin holders, it's all like anti-government, DeFi only, self-custody, and now it's like 2025. Bitcoiners are like, oh, we need regulation, we need this, we need that. And I get that argument. My whole stance with all of this is, as a big believer in DeFi, is like, this is the pathway to DeFi, right? Is when we come in and you have all these TradFi rails and systems that we know are dog shit, they're going to bring people into crypto. That's going to then expose them to the opportunities in DeFi. And when the CeFi stuff starts to fail, they're going to move into DeFi because they'll be educated, there'll be better tooling, right? It'll bring the attention and the capital in to make DeFi actually usable, workable, and sustainable. And it'll bring those users to where when inevitably the CeFi stuff falls on its face, then they have their minds open to why we should have had DeFi from the get-go. But without the these centralized rails bringing it in, I don't think we have the opportunity to get that adoption in DeFi. So I look at it as like a backdoor way to bringing people eventually into DeFi, into what we all hope for in the long run. Will it be a painful process? Unfortunately, probably. But that's fingers crossed. That's my long-term theory on how this is actually beneficial for the 20 years down the road.
No, it's gonna take a while for sure. But good stuff definitely coming from US. I hope Europe would.
Well, let's just hope JD Vance gets elected as the next president after Trump. Otherwise, if we get another Joe Biden and say goodbye to all this stuff, they're just going to do a 180 and we're going to be back right where we were a year ago.
Yeah.
Some of this though is going to be hard to retrace. I mean, and a lot of this, once the money starts flowing into the banks, flowing into politicians' pockets on both sides, there's aspects of it that they're not going to want to remove. When banks are now free to conduct crypto activities, not just JP Morgan, but banks across the board in the US. Once that's adopted, like good luck, pulling that back. There's gonna be so much money flowing through all the lobbyists and into politicians on both sides of the L's pocket. Like there's aspects of crypto that are going to continue to be more and more popular. The danger is, that a different administration comes in and all of this becomes very strictly regulated, CeFi stuff, which we don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the main thing here is though, like we have DeFi, like that's gonna be the saver.
Which here's a great example of that. No, sorry, not Japan. There's the story from Turkey. Here we go. Yeah, Turkey getting bearish. So Turkey's their lira, I think, in the Turkish lira. I mean, it's one of the worst currencies in the world. Hyper inflation. Government is essentially bankrupt. And so they're kind of one of their last ditch efforts here to try and turn it around. They're now requiring crypto platforms to verify the source and purpose of all transfers. And they've imposed a $3,000 daily transaction limit and a $5,000 monthly transaction limit for crypto and for stable coins. This is obviously a bid to get people to, because right now in Turkey, people are using crypto instead of using the native currency, the lira. So it's obviously, hurting their currency, hurting their economy. But in reality, all this is going to do is further hurt their economy, because what are people going to do? It's not difficult to get around these rails. They can't do it in Turkey. So there's a million other, they can go out, they're going to go outside the country. They're going to take that business to other platforms. Turkey has had huge adoption for Bitcoin. They've been a very good market for crypto. A lot of retail buyers there, a lot of companies that got out of there. They have exchanges, etc. Well, all of that money that was coming through those Turkish businesses that then pay taxes, that then put money back into the local economy, they're all going to lose that business. Now all that money is going to go to exchanges that aren't in Turkey, to projects and to services that aren't in Turkey. So again, it's a very short-minded view of this. That's in the long run just going to hurt the lira and hurt the Turkish economy even more. So this is the kind of stuff that we don't want to see happening in the U.S. and other countries. As this fiat bubble continues to unravel down the road. So this is the kind of stuff where, those of us that are involved in DeFi, like we need to be getting on it. Like now's the time we need to start really dumping money and putting the smartest brains on DeFi solutions, because what's happening in Turkey is going to happen in the US. It's inevitable at this point. So we need to be ready for this in the future.
No, I agree.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, the dollar's the best of all the shit coins out there, but it's still a shit fiat. Like, I don't know what path we have to making long-term sustainability with it.
Mm-hmm.
People are using the dollar because it happens to be the best of a shit situation out there with fiat. So Bitcoin's the answer that fixes that. Is the U.S. government going to like people stopping using the U.S. dollar and using only crypto and Bitcoin and DeFi? Of course they're not. So be aware of what's potentially coming in the future.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's all the terrorists, man. It's because of all the damn terrorists.
That's right. Money laundering. But in the meantime, we got lots of bullish stuff going on. UAE taxis now taking crypto. That's great. Japan is proposing to allow Bitcoin ETFs and cut capital gains tax. Asia, on the rise more and more. And at least in recent days, Asia in general has been the most bullish region for crypto. We've seen probably the most accommodating regulations and laws, tax cuts, etc., mostly coming out of Asia recently.
Yeah, even Thailand just did that recently, like a 5-year hold on capital gains tax. I was like, damn, I actually might want to move to Thailand now.
Well, Vietnam followed suit. So Vietnam, they've delayed any sort of capital gains because Vietnam is in the process of passing crypto regulation. But they're following Thailand. As of now, there'll be no capital gains on crypto until 2030.
Hell yeah.
So, which I believe is the same time as Thailand. They're kind of following suit there with what Thailand's doing. So, yeah. Moscow.
Yeah, meanwhile, Europe is behind.
Europe's so bearish. Get the fuck out of Europe. Europe sucks.
Move to Russia, Jan. There you go.
They're a dying breed.
Bro, I'm in Bali. Like, I've been living here for 4 years. I've been living before that in Thailand. Like, I've seen what's coming way before everything started crumbling. Like, I know this shit. It's a system there that is backward thinking. There's no innovation. There's too bureaucratic. I have nothing else to say. But yeah, good to see that Southeast Asian nations look like they understand the game. There's so many people moving from Western world to these different countries, and obviously they want to be very competitive. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
Here's what Europe's doing. Europe's passing their own CBDC, the digital euro, which we know exactly what that means. That's just a nanny state right there. And of course, what are they going to do it on? XRP, the banker coin. So congrats to Europe. You got garlic head on your side. You're using the centralized banker's coin to launch your nanny state digital currency. So congrats, guys. Moving forward, big steps in the right direction.
Making progress.
Yeah, I guess one or two more stories here to kind of wrap things up. Huge news this week. I think this came out right on Tuesday, after we did our show on Tuesday. MasterCard partnering with Chainlink to allow people to purchase crypto directly with your MasterCard. MasterCard doing this means that Visa, American Express are also going to be following suit very soon. I would imagine that's almost a guarantee. But this is huge news. Until recently, if you tried to buy crypto with your card, most of the time as a U.S. citizen, you weren't allowed on a centralized exchange anyways. Two, those centralized cards wouldn't let you buy on a centralized exchange. If you found somewhere where you were able to buy crypto with a credit card, how they would run it, it would not run as a normal credit charge. It would run as a cash balance transfer instead, which has a whole different regulations. Essentially, you're not able to use it as a loan. Any sort of benefits your card gives you, it goes around all of those. So there's a lot of cards in the US that give you 12, 15, 18, even 24 months interest free when you get the card, if you qualify for it. So you were not able to purchase crypto with this. If you had a card where you had 18 months deferred interest, when you try to buy crypto, it would run as a cash balance transfer, and those are not applicable to your 18-month deferred interest rate. So you'd immediately be paying interest on that. So this opens up that possibility. It'd be interesting to see how many of these interest delayed cards are still around after this gets put into force. If so, I might have to be looking to pick myself up a few new credit cards and
max it out.
Max it out. Get a 2-year interest-free crypto loan.
Oh God.
Hopefully this comes around just in time for the bear market, and I can get some cards and max them out in the bear market, and then sit on those till we get to get some pumps and pay them off.
Well, I mean,
always good to have more leverage. Always
free loan, baby.
You need more leverage.
My trading teacher is rolling over in his grave right now.
What could go wrong? It's an interest-free loan, and it's a credit card, so you just throw it in the lake, and it's all good, right?
Hey, you're not even in the States anymore. Fuck it, you know. Like,
well, that's my plan. So they're gonna start accepting, for my home loan, I can use Bitcoin as proving I'm my credit worthiness. So I max out a whole bunch of these cards and then never pay them back, which drops my credit. Because I hold so much Bitcoin now, it all balances out, and I still get the home loan, so I'm good.
More leverage.
Oh man.
I've got it all worked out, guys. I got it all worked out here. Don't worry. But to kind of wrap things up, this is kind of the end all be all. This is the story that regardless of whatever's in the news, this is what's most important. And a lot of times when we talk about inflation, we look back 20 years, 50 years, 100 years at the inflation of the dollar. This, I think, makes it a lot more real for people. This is in 5 years. So in 2020, $100 has depreciated to being only worth $76. So essentially you dropped 25% in value in 5 years. While Bitcoin has gone up, I mean, I would say that's substantial. $100 now worth $1,200. So you have a 12x on one side and a loss of 25%. That, at the end of the day, this is the only story people should really need to understand why Bitcoin and why crypto in general. We always say this is the future. Well, the future is coming true. JP Morgan is opening their own stablecoin. Amazon, Walmart, the mass adoption from institutions is in full effect right now, and it's only going to continue over the next 5 to 10 years. We're kind of in the age of I guess the cell phones bringing the internet to everybody. Cell phones and Facebook, is what boomed the internet. Having all of that accessible in the palm of our hand. Well, from traditional finance, all of our assets very quickly are all going to be on chain. You're going to be using blockchain whether you like it or not. So, this is the story I think that to share with your normie friends. I mean, feel free to share all the rest of the stuff we cover, but this I think makes the most sense to the average person.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think I don't know, what else can you say here? The obvious.
But yeah, that's about it I had for the news stories today here. Another bullish week in terms of news stories, in terms of regulatory stuff, in terms of Bitcoin and Ethereum adoption. Charts are looking pretty good as well. We got a good bounce from what it was 99K or whatever we hit there. So wars are calming down, hopefully for the foreseeable future, but time will tell.
Yeah, just wait one tweet from Trump and we're back.
Yeah, honestly.
Well,
isn't the tariff stuff coming up next week or something?
Tariff news has been pretty bullish. I saw today the U.S. Trump did a statement, some news interview. We've already brought in $88 billion in revenue from the tariffs. So they're doing what they were supposed to. $88 billion in tariff revenue so far. We've got $13 trillion in direct investment in the U.S. pledged after the tariffs. We just signed. I haven't seen the official deal, but Trump says we signed the deal with China. Europe is coming to the table saying they want to negotiate even better terms with the U.S., offer us lower tariffs on goods coming from Europe to the U.S. So on the tariff front, everything seems really positive right now. I think it's really just the Fed rates and these conflicts between Russia and Ukraine and Iran and Israel that are holding things back. So we get a lid on those. We get some rate cuts in January, hopefully, and it's up and away, boys.
Hell yeah.
I mean, Andrew's saying about this bullish summer, so let's hope that's right.
It's coming, and this is it. You want to get the fuck out by the end of it. We'll see, man. Time will tell. I have no idea.
All right. I think we're good. We're in 45 minutes again. Guys, thank you for looking at this video, please like, share, subscribe. We're here again next week. Any final words?
Yeah, I guess for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, or if you've been watching, if you don't know what we do, why we do all this, why we're here bringing you charts and news and stuff, we're not KOLs. We are a mergers and acquisitions and OTC desk. In fact, we're the largest M&A platform in all of Web3, one of the biggest OTC desks. So if you are in the market, if you're looking to get your company acquired, if you're looking to acquire and grow your company by acquiring revenue, acquiring TVL, acquiring new users, yeah, Acquire.Fi is the place to be. You can hit us up on Telegram. You can find us on through our marketplace. We've got a ton of great listings on there. You can see our private book if you want to message us on, like I said, Telegram or on X. That's how you can get a hold of us. We're pretty public facing guys. We're active on LinkedIn. So yeah, find us at your favorite local retailer.
Awesome.
And anything on you? All right. Good to stop. Thank you, guys.